Mike. Today we are going to be doing a walk around tour, startup, and small little drive of my 1996 Suzuki Carry mini truck. So, a little bit about the mini truck. I picked it up from Duncan Imports in Christiansburg, Virginia. They pretty good group of people out there. Definitely, if I ever wanted to buy another import, would totally go to them again. Great group. So, I have put about almost 3,000 miles on this since I've picked it up about 7 months ago, give or take. Wonderful little truck. Thing is in great shape, as you can see. Got it tinted out because that's kind of what I do. Swap that steering wheel for a Fun Haver MPI wheel. Got a racing shift knob in there. Got my GoPro mount for when we do the drive, and then a little magnetic US General coffee cup holder for when I'm going to work in the morning, since there isn't a obviously cup holder in this thing. Got fancy little mono AM only radio, heat and all that good stuff. No AC though, but beggars can't be choosers. Got that Japanese writing up there for that authenticity. Alright, so cool things about this truck that I wanted to show you guys is you got the fold down bed sides, which super cool. So all three bed sides are able to go down, and if you remove that Phillips head or 10 mil right there, it will just slide right on out and be good to go. Right here you have access to your upper part of the transmission and the back side of the motor, which is a little 660cc 3-cylinder. Pretty awesome. One thing to get to the motor, you hit that little flap right there. You can fold that seat down, and then it'll come right on out. Give me 1 second since I'm trying to do this one-handed. Alright. Alright, now in here, got your air box, your alternator, you got coolant reservoir, your front differential, and because it's super easy to do right there, you have the drain plug for the oil. Super easy. Carburetor right there. Let me go around to the other side, pull that side out and give you a little look-see. Got the battery right there. Super easy to get to if you need to do like a battery tender or just even swapping it out. So same side, or same thing for the passenger side. Let me reposition my handhold. Alright, you undo that. Flip that up. So in here, you have, on this side I mean, you have access to your, what do you call that? Your little, like, your little jack, roadside assistance jack. You have your washer reservoir right here. You got that oil filter right down there, super easy to get to, and then the oil fill. Easy access to spark plugs when I get around to doing those, but yeah, super easy. It's great doing oil changes on this because I don't even have to get underneath of the truck to do it. I just pop out the seats and then boom. That's simple. So it's pretty awesome. This side folds down the same way. Just give you a little show. Now if you leave the chain hooked up, then it's just like almost like a little table. I wouldn't obviously recommend putting anything on this because I have bent it a little bit, but luckily I was able to bend it back into place, because that would have been a little devastating. I do use this actually as a daily driver for work, which, you know, gets a job done. It's not bad gas mileage. So what I do with this is, you know, a little drive to work, and then, you know, I do a lot of idling and low speed. And I did clean this the other day, so, but you can still see kind of the mud on the tires and stuff a little bit. But yeah, we'll go over here, maybe a little bit more light, where you can see the transmission and all that other good stuff down here, the transfer case. Yeah, there isn't much to her, but she is a pretty good truck. She gets all the job done that I need, and honestly, people seem to love this thing. When I'm out and about driving out in the world, I get a lot of compliments, get a lot of, you know, especially like little kids, they all like to point and stare, and I've even heard when I took this to a park once, yeah, because my car was being worked on, my other car, and I heard the little kid was like, "Oh, look at the little mini truck." So yeah, it's cool to kind of, you know, bring joy to the masses. Also, real quick, right in there you got your brake reservoir. That's the front is disc on this truck, and the rear is drum. Besides that, clutch is actually a cable, which nice and easy to adjust if for some reason you need to. But yeah, let me get my GoPro set up and we'll go for a little drive, and I'll do some more overview of this. All right, now that we have you in the truck, let's get it started. Interesting thing about this is you don't actually need to depress the clutch in this to start it. So it's in neutral, my foot's away from the clutch, starts right up. Obviously, you got to be careful, because if you leave it in gear and you do it that way, it's not going to be a fun time. The thing will lurch forward. Ask me how I know. All right, you might see this in the camera view, but don't mind my work snack, and I got some pens here for when I'm doing stuff, because yeah, you always need pens and whatever else. You have a nice little, like, kind of like dash tray piece right there. But yeah, so yeah, let's get started. All right, so first gear, you don't always need it in this truck. And, there we go. Maybe that might give it a little bit better view. I don't know. We'll see. So you don't always need to use first gear in this, because it is a super, super, super low first gear. Like if you're on level ground or whatnot, pretty much you can start off in second gear. So right now I'm in first gear, and I'm doing, it's barely a walking pace, which honestly, this is also a very good vehicle to, you know, maybe even teach a first time person to drive stick shift, because in first gear, it's pretty much impossible to stall it. Like, you'd have to really, really try to stall this thing. No power steering. That's another big thing about this little truck. So let's go for a little ride. So it is a little loud in here. Obviously, when you're looking at the doors and feeling the doors, they're not very thick. Let's be honest about that. You know, crash safe might not walk away. But, you know, hey, that's all a part of the experience. At least in my mind. So this is the model that has a 5-speed, because there's a lot of models that only have the 4-speed. Another thing interesting, turn signal is actually on the right-hand side of the steering wheel compared to, you know, us Americans and, you know, whoever else is on the left-hand side with it on the left-hand side. So, got the wiper blades on this side. You know, there's not much to this. It's off, low, and high. That's really it. You don't get too much fanciness with this unit. So, interesting thing about the dash, which you might be able to see it in the video. If not, I'll get to a close-up on it in a little bit. It only reads in kilometers. So, you know, obviously, I'm not very good with the conversion, but I kind of look at it and I'm like, okay, 70 kilometers an hour is about 45 mile an hour, give or take. So, yeah, pretty much, I just do 70 everywhere I go. You know, kilometers an hour, you know, just in case somebody gets sensitive. I don't think this thing could actually do 70 miles an hour, to be honest. I will admit, at one time, I did get it up to 60, and it felt like I was pretty much running the poor guts out of this motor. Looks like it might be a little bit busy down that way today. So, you know what? We are gonna go to the right. And, pro tip of the day about this thing. Do not pull it out in front of traffic. It does not have enough power or speed to get you out of the way, and you will be hurt and regretting it very much. So let's see, what else is interesting to talk about the little mini truck? Obviously, we'll just start going over some of the obvious. No ABS or traction control. This thing just doesn't have it. This model that I own has an axle lock and 4-wheel drive. Now, you can buy some models that have like a dump bed, a rear differential lock, and you know, I believe it's the 4-speed models, excuse me, has a 4 high and a low, where mine, because it's the 5-speed, only has a high, which I say that, but I guess you can't really say it's factually true, because when I'm in 4-wheel drive, it doesn't show it on the shift knob, because obviously this is an aftermarket shift knob, but there's it's an extra low gear, like on the OEM shift knob, it does say EL. So for, I'm guessing extra low, or yeah, whatever. So I have not seen the need to go down to EL. Like, I've done it a couple of times, but yeah, it's just not really needed. Let's see, what else is interesting about the said mini truck? Oh, this one's a big one. So if you're looking to buy a mini truck, at least this model, which is a DD51T, David 51T, Tom, you know, just to give you the phonetic or whatever you want to call it. So I found this out when it was cold out and I first started having to use the heater. For some crazy reason, the heat only will work, and I've looked this up on forums and it's obviously a thing, but it only will work on the feet, defrost, and defrost. Those are the only 3 settings that the heat will work on. Like, so like face and then like face and feet, that will not give you out any heat. I don't know why. It seems kind of like an odd, what do you call it? An odd feature to have, but because when I first experienced it, I thought that the thing was broken, and it wasn't a good time. I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna get parts for this thing? Speaking about parts, I bought tires for this truck. Had to buy them off of eBay because there is no equivalent in the United States for this small of a tire size. I've heard of people putting, like 4-wheeler tires or whatnot, which, yeah, you could do, in theory. But I decided it was like, I think it was like $350 off of eBay for 4 brand new Yokohama Geolander MT-03, I believe. So had them delivered, and a tire shop was able to mount them for me, so not a big deal. Interesting fact though, after 1995, at least on the Suzukis, they switched from a 4x what is it? It's I don't know. But let me get to what I was actually saying. So from 95 on, it uses a 4x100 lug pattern, which, surprise, I'm able to actually take the 14-inch Daisy wheels off of my 91 Miata and put this on this truck, and it runs perfect. They don't rub or anything like that. So yeah, so if you're looking at trying to just put some regular street tires on, you can get wheels off of a 14-inch wheels off of a Miata and put them on. 15-inch wheels, they don't really work because I do run into rubbing issues at that point, because I did try to mount my RPF ones that I have. Yeah, so this is where this vehicle excels at, is on side roads, back roads, or I guess you could say main roads if they're under 55 mile an hour. This thing does great on. Yeah, so I kind of have a trend going, it seems, with like my motorcycle. Yeah, it technically can do highway, but I wouldn't want to do it for long periods of time. But for this, yeah, like it low horsepower, I think it's only got like 46 horsepower. I don't really know. It's, trying to, there's only so much you can trust off of Wikipedia. But yeah, so got a little ashtray, got your little cigarette lighter if you partake in that. But yeah, pretty cool little thing. Yeah, so I guess we'll flip around, get onto the road. I'll shut up for a couple seconds so you can actually hear kind of the road noise of this thing, and kind of have an idea of what it sounds like. And like I said, do not pull out in front of traffic. It will not end well. I'm in 4th gear doing 50 kilometers an hour, which is probably 30 something. All right, and to the floor. 45, 50, about 55. As you can hear, it gets loud at 55 mile an hour in here. The alignment's good though, obviously, as you can see. I haven't careened off the road yet, so I'm a trained professional. Definitely do not let your hands off the steering wheel. People may frown upon such things, but yeah, let me I guess I'll come to a that we're at a little bit of a stop, I will get you some close-in views of some couple things. So we got radio right there. This is the only speaker in the car. Like I said, it only does AM. So here we have, here is the dash. So you got your coolant, you got your speedo in kilometers. Down here you got your parking light, your battery light, and oil pressure or oil level, one of the two or three, I don't know. Up here there's something interesting. It only shows up when you first start it, or I guess if you have a malfunction. It is a exhaust temperature light. So I guess if the exhaust gets too hot, it will have an issue. Another thing that I figured I should mention real quick is that I'm about 5'9", give or take. You know, I got okay leg room, and that's the actual lock, by the way. But so, like I was saying, if you are about 6 foot or above, I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be extremely difficult, if not impossible, for you to drive this. I hate to crush your dreams, but my brother, who is graced with larger stature, he's not vertically challenged like I am. He's 6'2". Yeah, he can't operate the clutch and do what needs to be done, you know, obviously, to drive this, which very unfortunate. Headroom, he's fine, but yeah. So speaking about headroom, like I said, that's kind of what you got. So, all right, well, that I guess will finish up my tour of the little Suzuki Carry. So hope you guys like. Take it easy.